Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Wicked Theory Podcast. This is our Thor review special episode.
Thor Ragnarok.
Or,
Thor.
or Hulk Thornarok. Hulknarok. Something like that. Hanging out.
Thor
we got,
Hulknarok.
yeah, there you go. That works, right? Hanging out, we got Uncle Jay. We got our buddy Ed.
Hey.
And Brother Bob.
Yo.
And my name is Bill Sweeney, and if you've never heard us, we are the Wicked Theory Podcast. This is a special standalone episode. You can hear us every week on Mixlr, live, mixlr.com/wicked-theory, and iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, all that stuff. Look for the Wicked Theory Podcast. We're going to talk about it a little bit, real brief, non-spoiler stuff, but then we're going to get into it, and I don't know which way we're going to go. I don't really have notes to guide us, but I have a couple of online articles to kind of keep me refreshed and find the talking points. This is not a professionally slapped together.
Oh, come on.
Review thing. I mean, we're gonna dissect it a little bit, and we'll have some
We've
arguments.
done a few of these before, Bill.
Yeah.
Bill, they're only going to notice it's not professional if you tell them.
Remember,
That's a good point.
we did Wonder Woman, we did Guardians, we did Spider-Man.
Sure.
This ain't nothing new.
Guardians 2.
This ain't nothing new, motherfucker.
Nope.
All right, so let's just kind of kick it around real quick. General impressions, no spoilers, thoughts, opinions.
I definitely saw an Asian influence in the color schemes
All right,
of this,
sure.
because obviously this is a worldwide movie.
Right. Well,
You know?
there's a lot of Jack Kirby stuff going on in that design
Yeah.
aesthetic that's going on. The flat colors, actually, that's what it's really kind of harking to. I can see it kind of being like a thing if you're not.
Trying to bring some of the comic book
Yeah.
This
into
feels.
the visual.
I was going to say this feels very 80s cartoon.
It does have that kind of thing, a little bit kind of going on.
Okay.
The palette and like the
That's where I was getting my Asian reference.
Yeah.
It was very bright. Yellows, reds, blues.
You can feel a different director at work here in
Yes,
this
direct-
piece.
Oh, definitely.
E-
Definitely.
Each of these movies are different in their own way.
the
Oh, yeah.
Thors, the Thors,
yeah.
You know James Gunn is all over the Guardians movies. You know this guy. I'm sorry, I can never say this guy's name right.
Taika Waititi, who hails from New Zealand.
So
Waititi
you
from
can see
Abamu.
his humor all over this, and it's a totally different type of humor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say totally, but you can feel that it's not. It's a little different.
Right. It's definitely looser and a lot more ad-libbed. You can feel the ad-libs.
Right.
This you get a sense of the
little bit.
of the atmosphere that's going on behind the scenes of this when they're making this.
Well, it mirrors the Guardians films for me. I think it did.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's what they were going for, and thought they can get away with it because it's kind of it feels like it's a piece
Yeah.
of those two films.
Right. Well,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and it ends up in space,
Right.
which is cool, because spoiler, sorry.
What on Thor?
Yeah.
No, well, I think we all know that it's not Asgard.
Yeah.
He's on this other planet. You know what I mean? So that's fair. That's not. I wouldn't say that's
Yeah,
too
if
much
it's in
of a
the
spoiler.
trailers, we can talk
Yeah,
about
I think we're fair
Yeah.
with that. But generally speaking, but that's the thing though, is that it's taking another look into Marvel's space angle, and it's kind of following similar visual cues that Guardians set in place.
Right.
That's like, it is like having an actual color palette. And actually, on the regular show, I was talking about James Gunn being on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, and that's a thing he was talking about on there. It's like his goal with Guardians was to kind of have this thing that was like the anti, like he grew up with all these really cool sci-fi movies that he loved to death, you know what I mean? But there is a thing where it's like all you get really is like dark, moody kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so
It's always serious.
super serious, and even if it's got any levity at all, it's still dark. You're in a dark ship. It's like everything from Alien
Right.
and Blade Runner is the aesthetic, So it's like about what can you do different, you
Right.
know?
And which is why Orville works.
Why Orville works, and it's like look, lights are on,
Yeah.
Really.
But so this follows that suit in a way where it's like keeping a bright color palette, a lot of daytime stuff, and
Yeah.
just kind of having fun with it, and not bogging it down with too much seriousness, which is. This movie's definitely not serious.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely a fun ride. This, in every sense of the word, in every sense of the idea, is as much a summer movie as any other summer movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Even though this is out in November.
Fair enough. It's got that too.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's not any different than any other Marvel movie in its attitude. It's like, okay, we're gonna make this like it's a summer movie.
Well, Marvel's the exception to it. They can release any fucking thing.
It seems
And
that way.
it'll make
Yeah.
summer numbers.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Right.
and I'm expecting. This is on the side. I'm expecting that the Black Panther is probably going to be the first $1 billion movie.
I wouldn't be surprised, man.
That's gonna
that's international appeal like nothing else they've put out yet.
Yeah, really. That's gonna cover a
Wait.
whole freaking continent plus of new people.
Ed squinting.
Wait, when you say $1 billion movie, do you mean like in the U.S.? Because
No, he's talking international numbers, but he may not be as familiar with you. Or
okay,
So what are you going to say?
Because there are I think 3 $2 billion movies: Titanic,
Right.
Avatar, and I believe.
Fuck James Cameron.
He doesn't count. Well, I think. Well, maybe to
Force
kind of
Awakens, I
refine,
think.
Bob's
Yeah,
point,
there
we'll
have
say
been
this.
there have been plenty of $1 billion movies.
This might be the first one for Marvel. Then let's say maybe.
Yeah.
You know, to put under the official Marvel belt if they haven't done it already.
You're thinking domestic
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
Force Awakens, Titanic, Avatar all have $2 billion, and there have been
No, I think
31 movies that have grossed over $1 billion.
I think Last Jedi might be the cross billion
Thank you
domestic.
for destroying my point.
Hey, truth hurts. baby.
However, no one has made $1 billion in the U.S.
Which is what I think Bob was saying.
Yeah, the current domestic record is Force Awakens with 936.
Force
million.
Which will probably be overshadowed
Yeah,
by
that
The
might
Last
actually.
Jedi.
Then this one might actually do it then.
But
Last Jedi might
let's
do
bring
it.
it back to Thor. So solid stuff all around too. I
Absolutely.
feel like they did great stuff with the Hulk.
The
Hulk.
Stan Lee moment was nice. I'm sorry.
Stanley, well, he's going to have a cameo. It was a good one. We'll get more into that in the spoiler half. The Hulk really kind of got to shine in this
Yes,
more.
and they did a good job with the
yeah,
Hulk too.
and,
I think.
and more Hulk than Banner in a way. I mean, Banner's in it, but I think Hulk is the one who you get to see shine a little bit.
Yeah, he gets a personality.
Yeah. Which is kind of hard to do and keep him kind of dumbed down. But they kept that because they worked it into an immaturity level.
Yeah, we'll elaborate
as
more.
well as being a little.
A lot of good
slow.
cameo stuff. All of it, but
Yeah.
all of it feels a little spoilerish. So we'll just keep it at that for right now. But just a lot of great little touches to see. A lot of fun.
I think it's a really good sci-fi adventure on its own too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
This is this could be looked at as much as an independent movie, a story on its own, as much as like an aside to the Guardians.
Right.
Because it takes place
Yeah.
in space.
It's Thor's sci-fi romp. You know what I mean? It's his. That's basically what's going on.
Well, they all were, except this is a little bit more.
It's hard, specific
Yeah,
sci-fi.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like otherwise, it's
Well, I
very
think-
Asgardian based normally. And even though there is that here too, there it is about Asgard to a degree. It's,
Right.
it's
Well, Kenneth Branagh had that more like straight up Shakespearean, and it was low
Yeah.
level
Which,
action.
but I like
which
that.
is which is great. Dark World veered off into a different,
Dark World.
It
Yeah.
tried, it
Try to be more actiony.
and the humor in that is with like Stellan Skarsgård just felt a little out of place.
Yeah,
and,
not all of it landed.
Yeah, and
James
this-
in the chat rooms, he said he got a good point. He's like it tried to be epic.
Yeah.
And not a lot of fun.
That was what
Right.
the Game of Thrones.
Well, I think
director,
Marvel has been trying to find the right style of movie for Thor, and this seems to be the way to go.
I actually thought
You
they
know.
hit it on the mark with the first film. That was just my
Yeah,
opinion.
It's a great.
Oh, I
force.
like it. I like
Yeah.
it but it's also back in the earlier days when I think, and don't quote me on this, and look me up and
Safe.
shoot
Not
me down.
That's Ed.
safe
You're looking
but-
at Ed. He's looking at Ed, people.
Like the budgets were less in the Marvel movies
Oh,
back
yeah.
then too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they were feeling themselves out a little bit, but and as good as they were, what's interesting is that they found early on that we can have fun with Thor, fish out of water stuff in the first one, and in here it's like it's not. He's not the butt of the jokes as much as he's making the jokes, or the jokes are happening around him.
Yeah.
Whereas in the first movie, it's
Right.
like he's acclimating, so it's that whole bit.
Yeah, and I think this is also Chris Hemsworth. When he was first cast as Thor, it was he didn't know what his range was like as an actor, and I think in his other work outside of Thor, he's gotten to express that. You know,
Oh yeah, his role in the Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
People really like that.
Yeah,
He got to be a comic.
Yeah, and also in the Vacation remake, which is a crappy movie, but he's hysterical in it.
He plays the old Vincent D'Onofrio part. Oh, I'm thinking Babysitter. What did you just say? What movie?
Vacation.
Vacation. For some reason, I thought for a split second they remade.
You know, it's not very good, but I wound up laughing a lot in that movie.
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
a lot of one-liners and stupid jokes.
Yeah.
And that little brother should be like enshrined in the Cursing Hall of Fame. But
See, I'm laughing already.
yeah, as a movie, it doesn't work. But all the one-liners, all the jokes are really
But
funny. which
Hemsworth is
weird.
really good in it, and
Yeah.
and again, I also think that this opens up Hulk a little bit more because we haven't seen a Hulk movie in a while, and I know there's some rights issues with Universal going on with that, but I think this is going to start.
I have
igniting-
a clip I'm going to play in a minute. I'm going to cue it up about in reference to that. But go on.
I'm thinking that this is probably going to ignite the.
Well, I was actually reading something. It came up on my phone the other day that this whole thing with Hulk is part of a planned story within.
I have. Well,
the,
hold on. That I have an actual clip I can play in regards to that too.
Okay.
Well, what I'm
gonna
saying,
say?
I think this is going to jumpstart the. To
It's
have
like,
another.
I think at one point Kevin Feige went to.
I literally
went
have
to
a
him.
clip.
Yeah,
I have a
okay.
clip.
All right, I'll just let you do what you got to do.
Bob, stop talking.
Bob wants to get it out. Bob has to get it out.
I thought I could continue to talk until you found the clip.
Yeah, but like about something else.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about continuing of this conversation. Forgive me.
It's okay. Have you found it yet?
Long time.
He's a hero.
He is, Ben.
And you've talked at length about how the Hulk standalone movie, it's probably just not going to happen. But by this point, looking at Thor Ragnarok, do you even want one?
No. Are you kidding me? I get to have the best time. So Marvel brought me in before we shot this, and they said, if you had a standalone Hulk movie, what would it be? And I said, it'd be this and this and this, and then this happened, and it ended like that. And they said, how about we take that and we stretch that over the next 3 movies as your characters and Hulk character arc? And I said, that's great. And that's what we've been doing. So I will get a standalone Hulk movie, and we will work around Universal, and we'll do it in 3 movies instead of 1 movie. So take that, Universal. Now what are you going to do? You could have had a piece of this, but no, we haven't done it.
I like the idea that you get a recut movie, just chopping out everyone else's scenes.
And you could just cut all the other stuff out of it, and you get to see a Hulk standalone Hulk movie.
You had no idea.
It's amazing.
Under your nose this whole time.
Under your nose. They'll probably try to sue us now.
Yeah, that's actually pretty much what I read.
Right.
That's exactly what I read.
I knew where you were going with it, and I knew they lifted it from this interview. So that's from BBC One Radio. You can actually find there's more to that interview. It's actually a good long 6-minute clip with him talking to that guy. You can find it on YouTube.
So we are getting that Hulk movie just in 3 pieces.
Just in all these other appearances, and it's an interesting approach to kind of solving that problem.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like phase 1 of that in a way. Whatever
So I guess
that turns out to be.
I guess basically they have the rights to use him as a character in movies. They just cannot use him as in a solo movie.
Yep. Universal needs a piece if they do that. So,
Which
all
I
right.
still don't understand because they do have a piece in this universe.
Meaning
The Incredible Hulk.
right, but
The
that's-
first, the one with Norton was in.
right.
Yeah.
Well, Marvel's production company is involved in that, but Marvel Studios doesn't own it outright.
Yeah, because remember, this started, these movies, it was Marvel Studios. And Universal had the rights to Hulk, and Paramount had the rights to everybody else. And then Disney bought them all, bought Marvel Studios, and basically made a deal with Paramount to say, you'll get to share distribution rights on the Avengers, and then after that, Disney got all the distribution rights, and Universal didn't play ball.
Right.
Uh,
But I'm saying it is part of this universe, that film. They consider that.
They loosely acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Obviously,
Right.
Thunderbolt Ross is the same actor. Like that's the tether.
Because Stark is in that too, I believe.
Yeah.
Stark Tech, like it started this thing, but right after that, the negotiations, like the work didn't continue. Like regardless of whether it be Norton or not.
Right. I mean, do you think that Universal at all realizes that as Marvel keeps using the Hulk and making a great character out of the Hulk, that their value in their license goes down because they can't make a good Hulk movie. They're not going to be able to match what Marvel's doing.
Right. It's a no-win for them.
Yeah, so they should just be like, okay, you're doing great stuff,
Right,
so now
we'll play ball.
We'll play ball. If they don't do it soon,
the clock runs out.
And Marvel and Disney are going to be like, all right, here's $5.
Not even. The rights just revert back.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Marvel at this point is like, fuck it, we don't need it.
Well, that's it. Marvel's like, we'll just wait it out, and however many years are actually on that agreement, because eventually it has to revert back, because Universal can't make it without them, and they're not going to make it probably with them at this point unless it's under a certain kind of a deal.
I get the feeling that through all this, something's going to happen. Universal's going to play ball.
Sure.
The rights are going to revert back, and we're going to end up getting that Hulk movie.
It's a down the line, because I bet you what it is that they're just not saying that eventually it'll lapse like within X amount of years if there's no development.
Yeah, if it's not during this upcoming stage 4, maybe by the time we start stage 5, it'll be like the lead movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and why not? Sounds like a great thing. Let's maybe we should just switch over, start sliding into the spoiler zone with this thing.
Let's do it.
With this whole
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
Warning, spoilers ahead. You've been warned.
You backing up the truck, the spoiler truck. Is that what that sound was?
Got to get Jeff Tate from Queensryche. They have a song called "Warning," and he goes, "Warning."
Oh, like it's like more spoken.
It's a moment where he's singing, but it's just him.
Okay. Oh, no background.
I think
okay.
I think it's just like that. I just realized that. It just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
tune, by the
We'll go
way,
80s hair metal with it. Sure. All right, let's get into the spoiler stuff. Let's get into some details, things we loved, things maybe we didn't love so much or less than. Anybody want to jump in a little bit? I mean, I'll kick it off, but
well,
let's start with Hulk. Let's start with that with that backstory that they. We kind of got a planned Hulk storyline,
right?
Loosely,
yeah,
a touch of it,
a touch.
Yeah,
of it.
they gave us a bit of a chronology as well, because they did at one point say, "What happens? I was the Hulk for 2 years."
Yeah,
right.
And they tied it into the moment that he was flying the Blackbird,
Quinjet.
The Quinjet. Excuse me.
Fair enough.
Right. So we know that since the Avengers movie, he's been stuck as the Hulk.
Right. Right. Pretty much, he's been in the Hulk form for like 2 years.
Yeah,
which is a
long time.
Which is a long time.
Yeah. Also the idea that he's afraid if he turns into Hulk again, he may not be able to come back.
Right. But the Hulk is actually now got figured out how to not turn.
Which at the end of the movie, I don't think we see him turn back into Banner.
Mm-mm.
Did we get like the last moment?
No, I don't think we do.
Didn't. We didn't because the movie ends very suddenly.
Fair enough. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, they're all standing together on Asgard, and then we see them again in the ship at the end.
Right.
Yeah. Now I know, Bill, you're a huge fan of the Peter David run on Hulk. Was there any touches and notes on that in here? That whole thing with him fighting back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little fighting the change.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in the comics to a degree. It doesn't happen with the Green Hulk. It happens with the Gray Hulk, at least initially. I mean, since then, maybe it's kind of changed up again. But I know it starts with when the Hulk becomes gray and is a little bit more much more intelligent than this Green Hulk is, but gets more intelligent type personality, and starts to fight the change, and creates a whole new life for himself, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
Joe the Fixer.
But also, I know that I didn't read all of the Planet Hulk stuff. I watched the animated adaptation kind of a thing, which is actually really cool. So if you want to get a feel for what that is, you should rent the Planet Hulk animated adaptation the Marvel put out, like one of their last actual kind of animated things that were for grown-ups, kind of not on TV, kind of a direct-to-video.
Well, Planet Hulk ended up being one of the better Hulk storylines.
Yeah, but in that, I know he doesn't really change. I think he changes to Banner once in that, and so I don't know how it goes in that storyline. But he's green, and obviously because he takes over that planet. I think eventually he takes out that gladiator. He leads a resistance, a whole revolution.
Isn't it in part his gear keeps him helps him stay the Hulk? Like
it might be a thing like that.
Well, I think it's once he gets to the planet, he realizes it's too dangerous for Banner, and he does that to protect himself.
Fair enough.
By the way, if you want to see Planet Hulk, the animated movie is streaming on Hulu.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And it's worth your time, especially if you want like a cool follow-up or something to kind of connect the dots. Sorry, it's not canon to the movies, but you know, and if you're not, actually, you know what? Too,
you'll see where the ideas for the movies come from.
Yeah, and there's great YouTube channels too. Like I think Comics History Explained has like a great, like, you know, if you got 20 minutes, you can also kick up the speed time on the playback. But if you got 20 minutes, you know, they got a video on there. I think it's at least one part. It might be two. But a Planet Hulk rundown where it gets into more detail of the actual comics run. I dig onto those channels a lot to get a further dive. But so, you know, the Hulk does get to kind of have a lot of fun in this. And the whole exchange with him and Thor, So how did you feel about stuff like this? Like they kind of like pushed the envelope a little bit with this one. I mean, with some of the innuendos and the, like maybe not potty humor per se, but like there's obviously a giant green dick reference.
There's an orgy reference.
There's an orgy reference. Yeah. There's a sky anus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so
there is a bit of juvenile humor sprinkled throughout
a little
this.
bit, you know, and just teetering on the edge. It's like, oh, risque Marvel, huh? It's
you know,
as much as they would get, you know.
I always feel those for like really little kids who would watch those jokes go right over their head.
Some of them, But when you were a little kid, like how little were you when those stopped going over your head? You know, but people treated you like a kid 6. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they thought it was going over your head till you're about 9 or 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, like,
you know, because you're treated like you're a 5-year-old till you're about 15 or 16.
I would say like 12 or 13.
Because anus was a funny
What
word.
was that?
I would say like 12 or 13.
I thought you said 18. 12 or 13 is still pretty old, though. Yeah. But I think you know what a penis reference is, you know? You know? But
a giant anus in the sky.
You know, all you got to do is hear everybody start to giggle in the theater to get it if you're a little kid and you don't know.
Although, how about that very first moment in the theater when everyone giggled, which was when they realized it was Matt Damon.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
And acting as Loki in the play.
Not gonna. That looked like a Jimmy Kimmel sketch. Like when I said in our main show that I thought this movie straddled the line and almost broke itself.
And this is what you referenced.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the humor in this is really funny, but there are times where it gets so close. And the two main examples are that moment right there where you have Matt Damon, Sam Neill, and Luke Hemsworth.
Right, playing Thor.
Playing Luke.
It's all very winky.
Right.
Nod.
Yeah, it's almost like breaking the fourth wall kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. You're noticing we're in a movie too much almost.
Yeah, and the other thing about that was Jeff Goldblum's whole performance, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
He's just chewing carpet.
It's like you wonder if
scenery.
Excuse me.
That's a different movie.
Someone just.
Although I don't know. Actually, he wouldn't probably chew carpet.
Someone just took a finger full of blue makeup, put it under his lip, and like
he's good to go.
Did they tell him this was a movie?
But it works. That's the whole thing here.
It does work.
Because it never... Again, but it's not even worth talking about it because it doesn't do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't break. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I think that's when Jeff Goldblum is that kind of an actor that makes it... Like anybody else might have... went overboard.
Right. Yeah. Like the scene when he's like in the middle, like Thor's in the chair. Right. And then suddenly he's like playing the keyboard and they got the band behind. And it's like that moment could have disintegrated into insanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And been totally unbelievable and buyable by the whole audience. But because it's him, it's just played with a certain subtlety.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of when he gets like that. But in this situation, he plays it perfect.
He wasn't. They didn't go, like too, over Goldblum with him.
But right. Yeah. He didn't overdo it.
But no, he again, it reminds me of some Guardians humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, and that's why it works.
And almost Deadpool a little bit with that whole fourth wall thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he does Collector better than Collector did. I think he's kind of channeling what Del Toro was trying to do with Guardians.
Well, we really haven't got a chance to see his range on Collector yet.
Yeah. No, but I feel like...
But we're going to.
We know what we're in for with that.
Yeah, but
because it's Benicio, and we got enough where it's like, I like this taste. Give me more. Like, I got a flavor of that.
But I think he'll be cool in it, though, in future movies.
But tell me this: like, if you got all of a sudden Marvel was like, okay, we made a 1 hour collector movie and a 1 hour Grandmaster movie. Which one gets more annoying fast first? I'm just kidding.
I remember reading.
I would watch both of them.
I remember reading somewhere. Are they supposed to be brothers?
I think they are both Eternals. They might be from the same class of
something like that,
of high cosmic order type of thing. Clan of ancients type race.
Okay.
But he's still a solid actor. You know what I mean? And the thing is, and for this type of film, it's enough for him to go Goldblum.
And look, lest anybody get it confused, he doesn't overdo it either, being himself, and that's what I was afraid of. He gives it just the right amount. I think it's good, it's perfect, it works. It's not over quirky. He's not totally trying to kill it. It's not like when you watch him in commercials where he gets to fully lean into being, I'm going to be this fucking quirky guy from now, and drive, and slowly drive you crazy with it.
Apartments commercials he was
Right.
doing.
Where I'm just so cool because I'm quirky. This is him being a thing, and there is a certain amount of reservation because you've seen him do it harder, so it does work. It does work.
Like the GE light bulb commercial was phenomenal.
Yeah,
which that is priceless shit.
A light bulb.
But he still, I always found him to be an amazing actor through his career, and you can still see it here. You know what I mean? He's still in very much control of the character too, and I'm definitely want to see more.
Chat room scoop has given us that from John Zombie John report that those guys are brothers. That the collector and Grandmaster are.
I didn't think they were brothers.
Well,
I thought they were
for the update.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we're wrong now,
where were you on that, Ed?
John Zombie John is the info source on that.
Hey,
so
man,
I'm just gonna go with it.
I'm the DC.
This is the internet. We just go with the first person who says a thing. That's what we do, right? I mean, that's how the internet works, right?
That's how Wikipedia started.
There you go. whoever writes it down first, it must be true. All right, so there's Hulk a little bit. I'm sure we'll probably bounce back in. Well,
what about
peripherally? We got the good side characters from that planet. Was it
Valkyrie?
Valkyrie. We also got. I was going to say the Rock dude. Kronos. I want to say, but that's not it. Krovos.
Korg. Who was voiced by Taika Waititi.
Yes.
Right. Which is a real. I almost turned to Padding Bear right there. But he was like a real soft Kiwi kind of thing.
And this was also a bit of redemption for him because he played the best friend in the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, so this was his comeback?
Yes.
And from what I understand too, it was one of these things where it was like you're just kind of telling us what you want and it sounds so good you might as well just do it things. I think is how he ended up doing it. It just turned to one of those, well, we're all just kind of used to you doing it and the way you sound, and you might as well just do it. You're nailing it.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
See, but even that felt like Guardians too. That whole thing, and I enjoyed that. I actually all the tongue in cheek.
That was a totally ad lib scene.
Right, all the tongue in cheek and the fun stuff.
Yeah.
I just bought right the fuck into it. It's just like so much fun. It's what's going to the movies is all about.
Yeah.
Especially when you see that science fiction adventure. There's a lot of cool characters, a lot of fun going on, and still keep that Marvel fucking solid goddamn storyline going, and that's why it's great.
Right. I thought the whole conversation about the hammer, with Korg was good. The hammer pulls you off.
Right. More adult humor, but funny, just great stuff. And how about that though? Thor comes out of this kind of changed up, right? Speaking of the hammer, right? So the hammer gets broken. By the end of the movie, he doesn't get another hammer.
Yeah.
He's missing an eye.
And he has electricity running through his body.
And he's a little more juiced up now. He's found the secret of the source, which comes to one of my points, though. It did kind of feel like it was one of those cliche things where it's always been in you. You've had it the whole time. It's the Force.
Yeah, I was actually...
It's like, one of those kind of spiels. I was hoping for maybe different...
You know what's funny? I was watching Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Same thing with his mojo.
I was actually waiting for the reveal of... Well, because they were always talking about how Hela had... She got her power from Asgard, as she was going to be longer she was on Asgard, the stronger she got.
Okay.
But the whole movie, that was him too. Mm-hmm. That's how he gets his power.
Yeah, well, it's written.
So So that I was waiting for that reveal. You get your power from Asgard too, so you're just as powerful. Oh, duh. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, it's basically written into the screenplay, especially of the first Thor film, was that he was wet behind the ears, and he was somebody that didn't take his didn't take his responsibility in Asgard seriously. So I can kind of get it. That he didn't have this power until now.
Yeah,
because it's written as he was
supposed to be
egotistical. He didn't care.
Yeah.
He was known as the fun guy.
He's not last leg of his path of journey kind of thing.
But when it happened, I thought, oh, that's cool.
Oh, bro, it was badass.
Yeah, it was so badass.
They sold it so hard. That's the thing. Like nothing that even like the cliched stuff still worked. Like even though Anthony Hopkins is doing something I've seen before, like I'm like, okay, it's fucking Anthony Hopkins doing it, and they're not beating it over the head in a way too. Like, you know what I mean? This is the thing I noticed.
Meowgod makes a point.
Okay.
Thor turned into Raiden from
Mortal Kombat, basically.
Kombat.
Yeah. It turned into electricity powers.
Hey man, don't knock Christopher Lambert.
Lambert.
There can be only
He did
one.
start pulling off some pretty badass moves when he started after he had the electricity running through his body.
Yeah, and I
He
can't.
did just jump up and spin around and knock everybody out. And
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
He had some instant power, some instant moves, some instant finishing moves, which were all fucking badass. Now, maybe I just need this broken down for me a little better of the actual how they defeated Hela, because I think I have a bone to pick. Because immediately I'm like, well, that doesn't jive for me. So Thor beats Satyr in the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
And the horns are special. So you know the whole movie that, okay, those are going to play in the end. That's not the issue. So Thor can't beat Hela, right?
But by the end, he figures out
we can't defeat
he's too
her.
powerful. Even with all our forces combined, we couldn't destroy her.
So we have to get Satyr to do it.
Yes.
So I can beat Satyr,
Okay.
but I can't beat Hela.
Okay.
But Satyr can beat Hela.
Okay, here's the thing. Thor has these dreams that we never see.
Right? They've been alluded to,
But
yes.
he does mention it several times that he keeps dreaming of Satyr destroying Asgard, which is the prophecy of Ragnarok.
Right, yes.
Yes. And and then by the end, what we learn is Asgard is not a place, it's a people. So to get the people out of that place, and then the vision is, oh, wait, I was able to beat Satyr so that we could get the crown into the vaults, and then Loki resurrects Satyr with the Flame Eternal, brings him back. So basically now we're leaving this place, and Hela can have it, because now we're going to raise Satyr, and he's going to destroy it, because that's what the prophecy of Ragnarok is.
Right.
And he's going to complete his
How does that
destiny.
render her neutral, though? How does that destroy her? She
because-
gets her power from Asgard? Like, if
she
Asgard's
gets it-
gone, she's gone?
Yes.
And what happens to Satyr? He just kind of implodes and disappears?
Well, because he's fulfilled, he cannot die until he fulfills his destiny, which
So
is
Satyr's-
destroying Asgard.
And now that that's done, he's back in a hellbox somewhere or
he's just
whatever.
he's gonna fade away into nothing.
Until, Doctor Strange stumbles on him or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay,
see
okay.
the loop. Yeah, but there's the loophole here is for her to come back is that Asgard is not a place; it's a people, and the people are now on Midgard.
So she is probably just somewhere, much like Satyr is. Nothing is created nor destroyed, just kind of put into a Pandora's.
Yeah, well, he's probably
world.
still like slicing and dicing away at the whole planet.
Yeah.
And she's probably
some nether
immediately injured somehow, but eventually she's gonna come back. And then we're gonna find out. Oh, it was a place. It wasn't. It wasn't the place. It was the people.
Oh, I am sorry. Zombie John is correcting us. It's pronounced Surtur.
Surtur.
Well,
they should have spelled it like that. If they didn't want us to mix it up.
It's Surtur. It's a human god. It's not the feast you have at Passover.
Oh, fair enough. That's true. I was pronouncing it Satyr.
Yes.
I just thought it was Satyr Day.
It's syrup.
I'm sure our Jewish listeners are going, what's going on?
I'm sure the Jewish listeners are like, how did I end up here?
So they're saying, what's their number? We need to call in.
We need to correct these guys. This is
forward.
going to get out of control.
As Craig Ferguson says, we look forward to your letters.
We look forward to your letters, your emails, and your protests. Meowgod's suggestion, theory is Hela probably just hang in a broken Asgard, and Deadpool will stumble upon her at some point. Probably.
That will be an expensive
All right, because I
movie.
was a little confused on that whole, like, how that kind of like breaks down for the ending thing. Because I'm sure that I knew there was a process to it, and it wasn't a giant loophole.
Yeah, and right
but
in
I
the
knew
middle,
that I was a little bit lost.
Yeah, and in the middle of that process, Loki took the Tesseract.
That's true. So, Loki's got that now. Basically, well, we don't see him literally steal it,
but it's implied.
But it's so implied that it's like might as well just show us him clipping it. Like, why even dance around it? Which is going to lead, straight into, Avengers, Trace and Quattro, Infinity Brouhaha. So in this one, it looks like Anthony Hopkins is finally done.
Well, like for now.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
They gave him an out.
Well, he's going to do an Obi-Wan. And
be the ghost that pops up, ghost of Destruction Future.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be in the Infinity War somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come as a vision.
Yeah, and I thought that was a nice send-off for him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there were a lot more deleted scenes with Heimdall?
Possibly, but
yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think there's a lot more of an ad-libbing going on.
Well, there's definitely some outtakes.
Yeah.
Well, no, because Idris Elba doesn't show up till about 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Right. There might be more of that storyline kind of going on.
Yeah.
Well, we get a quick look of him early on. We don't really see him. We see his hands when he takes the sword. So that's not early, but that's fairly.
But that's
early.
what he's probably referencing to is like maybe there are some cut scenes from that probably.
Yeah. Well, and it's just kind of like he shows up and it's Scourge. Which I like Carl Urban. I thought this was.
I felt like he was also like kind of like unrecognizable too. I kept on saying, "Is that Carl Urban?" Like I couldn't remember. He's in this, right?
That's his bag. You would never think that he was Aomer. That
Right.
Aomer and Dr. McCoy and Scourge are the same guy.
And Judge Dredd.
And Dredd. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy, chameleon.
Wow.
Who knew?
Yeah, that's right. He's McCoy.
You know what I mean? You forget. you just forget. He's so good at that. Give him a
He was a
goatee.
great McCoy, actually.
Yeah, he actually really is.
By the way, check out Almost Human.
Yes.
Yeah, that was his series on Fox because they cancel things after one.
He was also in.
He was good in this movie.
He was great.
He was also in the Riddick movies too. He
Is
was,
he? Yeah. He's one of the secondaries.
Vaco. He was.
Vaco.
Kate Blanchett fucking it up, huh?
Sure.
Yeah.
She was something else.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah,
Sexy.
Hella was very cool.
Sexy.
Hella good.
Yeah, the way she was like, when she was herself and calm, she had her hair down. And then as soon as she pissed her off, she was like, okay, she slicked back her hair.
Yeah,
Let's do
exactly.
this.
It was,
And it was
awesome.
Like the horns came out, and it was just like, first
First of all, I got to tell
it's
you,
over now.
I got to tell you, first of all, Kate Blanchett is probably one of the greatest actresses working right now.
Sure.
She's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
To
And
get
she's
her
got-
for this was great. I was so happy.
I think what we're seeing now is actors want to be involved
Of
with
course.
Marvel stuff. In the early days, not so much because it was like, no, I don't want to play a superhero. But now, the Marvel train has gotten so huge that it's become a worldwide phenomenon. And if you want to be seen, and actors want to be seen,
Right.
you're gonna want to be in these.
And what's funny too is it's in that same pocket too. I think for actors that like animated movies are, where it's like I wanted to be in something I knew my kids would see, and like think I was cool for being in a little bit. Like if you're not gonna get like one of the main roles, then popping in the scene as
This is,
and
this is high on the cool list.
Right, that's what I mean. To pop in anywhere,
This is not like Spy Kids.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also giving these movies a little bit more merit too, getting these great fucking actresses and actors.
Absolutely.
And she was great and sexy. That's all.
I think what we're learning is Jay is
That's a
digging her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like the way because I feel like in Dark World,
Say it again.
the way they
I won't tell you you're lying.
the way they introduced Christopher Eccleston's character, who I can't even remember that character's name.
Elfie Elfrington.
Yeah.
I like Dark World. I can't.
I do too. I like it too. But the way you have that whole scroll at the beginning and the big, it's, and here it's just like, oh, you have a sister.
Right.
She's evil as hell, and by the way, she's coming, and she just shows up, and then you get a little bit later with the pictures and everything.
Yeah.
But I do like how it's like, we don't need an explanation. You just know, oh, it's over.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I think it works because
absolutely.
Oh no, that's not a criticism. That's what I like about this movie.
The thing
that
is,
they do that and it works. Because sometimes people do that and it usually doesn't work.
the whole thing was to never speak of her again.
Yes.
So
yes.
that kind of worked itself out in the writing.
Sure.
You're not
Right,
supposed to know about this
Yeah,
person.
yeah, it's retrofitting a little bit, but it plays.
Yeah, and how about how fast we got to that point? Like I was telling Bill after we first saw the movie, it felt to me like the whole thing with Doctor Strange.
Okay, yeah.
That was all to like move all this exposition. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, yeah. All the setup stuff really
all
comes
the setup,
in quick in the beginning.
within 5 minutes, we're in Norway, and Odin's dying.
Yeah.
And here comes Hela.
And it flows. It is a lot of moving pieces in a way, and it really does depend on you kind of knowing stuff. But it works. It's all sellable.
Yeah, I had no problem during
My
all
only
that.
issues are those damn gloves he's wearing. I really hate the yellow gloves.
Doctor Strange?
They just don't work with the costume now.
Yeah, well, maybe
Like,
he was just washing dishes or something.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
But I mean,
or working in a garden.
But
'cause
if you look at the comics, that's the costume.
I know. And some things. There's a reason why we change things, though, and I'm fine with it.
There's something about those gloves that he has to be wearing them.
I guess maybe it's a story point we don't know about.
Yeah, and it's funny is like it feels a little out of place or just shoehorned in. But the reason I like this is because it feels like if this was a 6-issue miniseries,
This is what would happen.
you would have Doctor Strange just show up in the first half of issue 2.
Yeah, not even 2 pages.
Yeah.
Hey, Thor. Hey, what are you doing? I'm trying to find a friend.
And that's how the Marvel Cinematic Universe feels like a comic book universe.
Right. And they should be kind of doing a little bit more of that in a way. This movie kind of has that feel because you get that. You get Hulk, a little bit of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I think this movie hits it just right.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I just want to. I would like to see a little bit more of that. Like Doctor Strange was a nice appearance here.
Yeah.
To follow that format and these other standalones, and obviously, you had Iron Man pop up and Spider-Man because that's very connected.
Yeah.
And you probably could backtrack it a little bit more and give me examples of how there are other, really good appearances and cross connections.
Let's just say there are other comic book cinematic universes that I wish did it this well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What, like the Casper the Friendly Ghost and hot stuff? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Like the Darkman franchise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
Archie's.
just because that guy died doesn't mean Durant can't come back again.
Yeah.
So
Robert G. Durant.
I got a little list here, a little recap out of an article that Birth Movies Death did, which is all about kind of like it's recapping the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's been, and where it's going. But in it, it's got a little rundown of where all these gems are, because that's where we're moving.
I have a question. It's going to lead into this, but I have a question because the Tesseract. That's the cube in the first Captain America film, correct?
Right.
All right. Where's the Red Skull? He's not dead. I know. Is he on Asgard or?
He is dead as far as we know.
No,
he hasn't been shown.
No.
He disappeared into the void, and he will not come back because Hugo Weaving
is like
evidently.
A prick.
No, because
what's the scuttlebutt?
Feige or the producers or someone pissed him off. And he did not have a good time, and he does not want to come back.
I do remember that.
Part.
Oh shit! All right.
But
which is funny because that's a part you could recast.
Yeah. If you could recast anybody, I think it's the guy with the mask over his face.
I thought he was blown to Asgard. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I think exactly what the scene
He was in the
is.
ship, and he had.
It was blown. He was blown somewhere. That's all you know. He went. The cube opened up a portal, and he went through it.
Wow, I don't even remember it.
We might actually be seeing some of him in Avengers 3 or 4.
So let's run down these things then. Okay, the Time Stone is housed in the Eye of Agamotto, currently worn by Doctor Strange on Earth. Right. The Mind Stone is originally housed in the scepter that was given to Loki in the Avengers. It's currently the source of the Vision's power. It's also on Earth. The Space Stone, it's housed in the Tesseract. It's given to humanity by Odin a few thousand years ago, recovered by Red Skull, used by Loki in the Avengers movie also, before residing in Odin's vault. And where is it now? With Loki, probably, but it's hard to be sure.
Right. But this goes to something I wanted to get to, which was at the end credits, when we see a giant ship pull up.
And I got 2 more. The Reality Stone housed in the Aether, used by Malekith in Dark World. Currently
Malekith, that was his guy's name.
Right. In Thor Dark World, currently in possession of Benicio del Toro's The Collector. On Nowhere is the name of the ship or planet. And then lastly is the Soul Stone, which is unknown. This is the only one that hasn't shown up yet, and it probably won't, in estimation, until Infinity War. But leads into Bob's question of the after credits scene where they're chilling, on the Asgard arc.
Right. It's actually not a question. I was reading up that there is an so far unreleased trailer for Avengers 3.
Right.
That is that has Thor being smashing into the windshield of the Guardians spaceship.
Right. So this the one that they showed at Comic-Con, supposedly that's exactly like how it starts. Like he basically is a comedic kind of like bug on the windshield for them.
Right. So this and the fact that we see Loki standing right in front of the Tesseract as he's on his way out the door with the horns. And we also know that fact that Loki was tasked by Thanos to get the Tesseract, and Thanos watches everything. It's fair enough to say that that's Thanos' ship,
right?
And Loki's giving him the Tesseract.
Yeah, sounds about right. Like something goes down, Thor gets thrown across
the universe.
Hold your breath.
Boom.
And
well, he is a god, so I'm sure.
He's got some
outer
time.
Space doesn't really.
What was the stone in the Guardians?
So, in Guardians, it was the Power Stone.
The Power Stone.
Housed in the Orb Stone by Star-Lord, and currently on Xandar. I actually skipped over that one. Good call, Jay. Currently on Xandar,
right,
under the protection of the Nova Corps.
Right, because there was one in Guardians.
The corpse of Nova. So Thanos is obviously going to be doing some planet hopping. It's
and it sounds like all he's got to do is stir up enough shit with whatever stones he physically ends up with, and the people who actually have the ones that he needs will come to him.
Well, he's going
to end up pulling away their power sources, and then we're going to end up with a giant battle in Avengers 4.
He did send out the kids to go collect them, I think is how that ends. He sends out the kids. I think Feige confirmed the name of that ship, so it is a Thanos ship. Doesn't mean necessarily Thanos is on it, but it does.
Could be Nebula.
It could be Nebula, and
I think if it does tie into Thor flying across the universe and splatting against the windshield, you kind of got to be Thanos to do that.
No, that's fair. But it's a giant ass ship. You hit him with a cannon. Zero gravity in space, and he's got no hammer.
Remember, at the end of Guardians 2, Nebula was trying to kill Thanos. Like that was what she was going back. So
she's still a baddie, I think.
You never know. They could, turn it back just to turn it back again.
He's been messing with her head since she was a little kid,
right?
So that's easy enough to deal with for him.
Yeah.
So you get like Black Swan and all these other kind of characters that have latched onto him.
Yeah. I think this is how we see Adam Warlock. The first time we see him, he's going after a stone.
Yeah, I think Adam Warlock is probably going to be the Soul Stone, because if Adam Warlock starts life as a creation, I think if they follow that of some kind, or they have to give it life, similarly to Vision, but this is different, like a Soul Stone, whatever that means here. But why not? And that would, I think, be the thing that ties to Guardians in a way where it's all about those gold-colored Academy Award-looking people.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Oscars planet. So let's see if we can kick it back up a little bit. Let's give us some stuff in the chat room, guys, if you're listening, and you got points and stuff that you guys want us to kind of break down or talk about or give our reactions to from the movie. But as we go back around, Valkyrie, I think I got a crush on her, but I don't mean to be, rude or anything.
Especially in Westworld.
She's cool. What was that?
She's in Westworld.
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson's all over the place.
Yeah, she stays busy.
Creed, she's in...
Yeah.
That's right. She is in Creed.
Yeah.
She's
an attractive lady. She's a good actress. She definitely looks like she can handle herself in real life.
Now, does she have an accent, or is she from the States?
She's from the States.
Okay. She was convincing me with the accent, but then again,
I'm predicting the end of Avengers Infinity War is going to be him with the gauntlet. Complete.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like a theory too. I've heard and seen, and it stands to reason. Like the first movie is him collecting the stones, probably, and then that's the cliffhanger. Him being this giant threat now. Like, oh my God, he's already kicking our ass
On Earth.
Yeah,
with this fucking
comes to Earth to get the last couple of pieces, and that's the big kind of like climax of that. And it's like, oh shit, we're fucked. We need everybody. And it's like, don't worry, we're all here.
Except I do know that the Guardians are in the first episode, or at least I know Dave Bautista is, because he was doing scenes with Stark.
I predict. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna predict if somebody actually hasn't already done it, like Saturday Night Live, or if you online one of these comedy channels, or like How It Should Have Ended, like those animated ones where like it's Avengers Assemble and Thanos is there and he's ready to strike, and it's all of a sudden it's like Captain America, like everybody's, I'm here, and it's like every fucking character, and Thanos just gets stuck. Oh my God, another one. Okay, this guy, that guy. I'm here, I'm here, oh there, I'm here too.
Don't forget Ant-Man. I'm here.
All that, like that gag.
And the Wasp. I'm here.
Right, just run out of costumes. So that's my funny bit. As far as Thor goes, to bring it back around.
Yeah,
I do understand if people have because I think some people have a bone to pick that Marvel is starting to like, is the Marvel formula now, like how we ensure that you had a good time is to make sure that it's funny. Like, would anybody say that is that a pattern yet? Is that a problem?
No, I don't think so.
Spider-Man was really funny. This Thor movie is really funny.
No, it's not. It's not about being funny. It's about being fun.
I like that.
I was just about to say.
No, but that's a perfect answer because the adventure is still good adventure. The action is still good action.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do think
the funny is different for each of the characters.
And each
different
film,
style.
It's a different kind of tone and level.
Spider-Man is a certain kind of personality, so does the humor.
Right.
Thor is a little bit more regal, a little more stiff.
Sure.
So it's going to have a different style.
Yeah. Right. Greg Berlanti, who executive produces all the CW superhero shows, Flash, Legends, Arrow, Supergirl. His main credo is heart, humor, and spectacle.
Sure. Yes.
And I think this falls into line with that.
Yeah.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that everything connects with each other. Each movie has something to do with the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the continuity, which is why DC is all over the place, because you have the TV, you have the movies, you have these reboots. Yeah. Everybody's confused on what's what. Yeah. Here, it's all connected.
The TV works.
Yeah.
But the TV works.
But I will say,
the TV stuff works.
It stands alone. And
it should now. That's good now. I see why that's good now.
Yeah, you can watch Thor Ragnarok without having seen Avengers Age of Ultron and still get what's going on. Now, watching it does make you appreciate it more, but I think the movie still stands on its own.
Right.
Right, even though they do kind of coincide.
Yeah.
They have left it open because they don't know what to do yet.
Yeah. And it does take, I would guess if you watched the Thor 3 movies as a trilogy, like, it's going to feel like lopsidedly heavy. It's like, oh my boy, this one's quite different than the first two. But so what? I mean, like that's what it takes to make it work. Then fine.
Yeah, but I think if you really want to do like a marathon of Thor, you have to bring in the Avengers movies too. So in that sense, you're going to get some more of that humor built. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But did anyone else notice that how one area that was kind of like light was the music?
Yeah. We did talk about that real quick.
We did talk about that. But there wasn't a huge playlist for this movie, probably because the one song that they played twice was extremely expensive.
They got that Led Zeppelin track.
That Led Zeppelin track was, and they made sure to use it in both fight scenes, and one in the beginning, one at the end.
And that was a good. I enjoyed the hell out of that because I was like, the whole kind of thing in your head was like, oh, is that only going to be in the trailer? Because that feels so fucking perfect for what they're doing here. Like it's so obvious of a matchup, like and it was in there. And it was greatly used.
Right, and it was perfectly used at the end again, simply because you were like, okay, we're getting to the end now. You know, you kind of get that. You kind of got that feeling because you've had that familiarity with it from earlier. You know, and it was used when it was getting to the end.
Yeah. Now,
In the chat?
God mentioned this a while ago.
Okay.
But I think we should. People are asking. He's asking where was Lady Sif.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at an article on EW.com, interview with Jamie Alexander, is that she was shooting Blind Spot at the time.
Oh,
and
shit.
And
there was a
the production didn't give her enough notice, and she didn't do it. So that's why she's at the movie, and they killed the other Warriors 3.
Well, that was the thing I was going to point out too a little bit, where it's like okay. Was half of Asgard the army? Because all of a sudden, when it's time to clear out Asgard, this ship is going to take, I guess, it only looks like, I mean, I don't know how many people that might be or it's supposed to be, but it seems to me like it's a few hundred people maybe.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to me like thousands, but I guess maybe Asgard's not like a crazy populated place.
Yeah. You don't have a lot of immortal gods running around.
It's probably a good idea not to have too many.
Yeah.
Let's keep the reproduction low since we live forever. Yeah. To avoid the overcrowding here.
Could you imagine kids that live forever?
No, that's what I mean. The overcrowding would be insane. You think China's packed? Oosh.
Yeah, well, I mean when we have time, I want to get into predictions and what's going to happen with Asgard and everything else, and what do you think might be going on in the next Thor movie?
What's with all the wimpy people on the ship? I mean, aren't they all gods?
Well, that is a thing, right? It's like
they're being moved around like
what
cattle.
What is the deal
like
with Asgardian civilians? Like, what is what is their kind of?
Oddly enough, they do touch on that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, obviously that's the place where you would probably follow.
Yeah, season 2 does touch on that a little bit.
Right, because somebody comes from Asgard, right?
Yeah,
Besides Sif, some other guy gets out or something.
Well, that's why she comes, because she hears, there's an Asgardian who escaped to Earth.
Right, who does?
And they find out he's just a guy who, he's a librarian who doesn't,
do anything.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't use his abilities or anything if he has any, even right. I think.
Oh, so they kind of explain it like, so you remember that episode of Star Trek where everyone has the mental powers and they got the midget, and they're dragging him back and forth and telling him to do things for them. It's kind of like that.
I want to touch back on something you said about each Thor film being different.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's what franchises should be doing.
Yeah, I think that should be the attempt.
And it goes back to what I said previously on the show before about the Riddick films.
Right.
And it kind of feels like Pitch Black was such a good film. You know what I mean? But the best thing that they could have done was make Chronicles of Riddick completely different.
Yeah.
Same thing with Thor. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Thor, you needed that Shakespearean element that Kenneth Branagh has in his direction to tell the tale of Asgard, right? Then you got the guy from Game of Thrones, directed a bunch of Game of Thrones episodes.
Alan Taylor.
To give it that medieval feel that Thor: The Dark World had.
Yeah.
Now you had something a little bit more of a space spectacle.
Right.
It makes each and every single movie in the franchise its own thing, and I enjoy that, using the same character.
Sure.
That's what a lot of these franchises should be doing.
The Captain America franchise.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Also very different.
Yeah.
I stand firm on that first film. I told everybody you needed to tell that World War II story.
Yeah, right.
And I actually thought that Joe Johnston, who just announced his retirement, actually,
Oh, really?
he did a perfect job with that first movie, because I totally bought into that. I wanted to see that World War II.
That felt
story.
very much like how the comic book tells that story.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm saying, and now that we got that out of the gate, here's fucking Winter Soldier. Boom! That fucking film just felt amazing. And then you had Avengers 2.5, which is Civil War. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is the other counterpiece to this, because this is what Thor and Hulk were doing while Civil War was going on, which was great.
Right.
But just to say it again, I think that franchises should take a learning lesson from this.
Right.
Make each film its own different thing.
Yeah.
Using the same kind of.
It's got to feel. I mean, look, Dark Knight did to a degree. Probably didn't do it as hard as the Marvel movies do it, because they don't shift out and become almost like tonally a different genre, because that's what Marvel's kind of looking at things a little bit like, combining some of these things with a genre tone, like, Civil War, Winter Soldier, Cold War, Ice Station
Espionage.
Zebra stuff,
Right.
like, you know what I mean, that kind
Winter-
of thing, because it leads into that. But that's a cool, way to combine things, like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Well, Winter Soldier and Civil War feel kind of on the same wavelength.
They do.
You know what I mean?
They do. They feel like sister.
But it feels like, you had Winter Soldier and then fucking Civil War is just
Yeah,
Boom, you know what I mean?
Even broader.
People should definitely take a learning lesson from these 3 Thor films because each one is different, and I think each one are great in their own way.
So let's look forward. Ed, why don't you? Because you had some. You mentioned it before.
I
got it.
You got to pee?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know what he
did-
had to do.
I did dabble.
He's like, I gotta. I'm like, okay. What?
I dabbled a little bit in Thor comics at the beginning of Jason Aaron's run.
Sure. Me too.
The God Bomb, God Butcher
Oh,
story.
not that stuff. I'm sorry. More recent stuff. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, but also Journey into Mystery was a title that was going on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Sif had a great storyline towards the end of that run. But I remember reading about this place called Asgardia.
Yes. Well,
Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Asgardia seems to be what we're kind of heading towards a little bit.
Yeah, actually.
If I'm remembering it correctly, I'm not sure that this is what they called it, but eventually, like, Asgard comes to Earth, like in the comics, in a more like literal kind of like it's a giant rock that's floating above Idaho or something.
Very similar to like New Krypton.
Yes, where it's like there's a giant cloud city that's just hovering, like, you know what I mean? But it seems like this is with this Thor has an ark full of people. And he's probably going to bring them to Earth. It seems like that's kind of like the idea. Or he's going to bring them somewhere. Like, we're going to find a new home. But I think that's referenced as Asgardia, right?
Yes.
Once it kind of descends from the heavens and it comes
Also-
into Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah, although, are we actually going to get him bringing them to Earth? Because he's going to get flung across the galaxy like a little bit of poo.
Right. Well, I mean, they're going to have to go somewhere. I mean, ultimately,
So,
maybe.
yeah.
But, it's a good call. It's a good call.
Maybe he gets flung across the galaxy, and Loki, who's saved his ass and given
Yeah.
Thanos the Tesseract,
Takes the people.
takes the people, and gets his ego fulfilled by having them kiss his ass on Earth.
Him and Heimdall.
Yeah.
Take the ship. Heimdall. Sorry. I don't want to offend anybody. I mean, they called it Asgard.
Hey man, we already got Seder wrong.
I mean, they called it Asgard in the movie. You know what I really feel like they missed maybe a little bit of an opportunity for some fun, at least, seeing as how much fun this was and how much of a fun character Thor became. Like, you didn't think they were going to play with it at all ever. Is the whole Donald Blake angle. Like, I still wish we had gotten at least one movie where, like, like a Ryan Reynolds type or somebody like that who could be maybe a little smarmy foil for him, was tied to him somehow, or just kind of bonded. Whether it was more like the old TV show where they could be side by side, or like the old comic books where he had to transform into him or something.
Well, maybe that's how he ends up getting his eye back. Some mystical connection to Donald Blake in another movie in the future.
I would hope so.
It gets his,
Because I don't know how much more you can do with Thor that's like, iconic in the way where it's from the comics and you can have fun. Yeah. It might just be another way to bring in like a known actor who gets to be in a Marvel movie for a movie or two and hang around, be another doctor or scientist like hanging
Get
around.
another Jeff Goldblum type.
Yeah.
You know?
Now I'm gonna name 2 villains who I know of from Thor who have not shown up at the movies yet. And Bill, I want you to tell me the likelihood that we're gonna see them within the next
I already know
2
what one of them is going to be, and I support that villain.
Okay,
very
well
much.
I'll start who I think Jay's talking about, and that's
I like that
and
look on
that's,
his face.
and that's Beta Ray Bill.
Right. Did you say villain?
Isn't he a villain?
Well, I mean, they start out as they're not getting along, but it's because they both are really, it's the whole, we're both good guys, and we just don't know that we're both good guys. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So-
So who is Beta Ray Bill?
Beta
'Cause
Ray Bill is actually, if you watch...
Waffle cannot stop talking about him at CBJ.
So Beta Ray Bill is like one of the only cool, like unanimously agreed that he's cool, actually, other people to ever be a Thor, besides the new female Thor, anyway. Like, these other iterations of Thor were never as cool. But basically, back in the days, back when Donald Blake was an thing in the comic during Walt Simonson's run on the book,
God bless him.
Beta Ray Bill is an alien, kind of horse face, pretty buff. I forget the name of his race, but he gets in possession of, I think, the staff.
I think they were called the Mustangs, Bill.
Fair enough. It's probably not far from it. It's probably like something play on horse thing. he gets a hold of the staff, and I think smacks it against the wall accidentally. And because he actually is worthy, he gets turned into a version of Thor. He's got the power. He's got a suit very similar. And actually, in the movie, there's a scene where you see these big steel chrome heads, and they're actually building one for the Hulk.
Right.
You know, it's all these past champions, like a Tower of Champions kind of a thing. And one of those heads is Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
And supposedly there's a scene that they cut out.
Was it really?
That is so short that they really felt like, you know what? It's kind of a dick move, actually, if we leave it in, because it's probably briefer than seeing that big head, and it doesn't really give the viewer anything new in a way. So it's like he either you kind of set him up and give him a good intro,
right?
You know, it was like an afterthought in the editing process. Either you it didn't feel like it was from what they said, like it didn't feel like it was giving him like kind of like the proper kind of screen time. If you were gonna do that, like he's such a cool character, you should do like a proper introduction for him.
Yeah, Beta Ray Bill was one of those characters that instantly became iconic the moment it was.
Yeah.
You know, released. This was '83.
Yeah.
Especially with that famous cover.
The famous cover of him breaking the logo
Now,
overhead.
It would be perfect.
Yeah.
If they made the next film the next Thor film focused on that, because that would just bring a whole nother level of shit going on. You know what I mean, between Thor and him. So, and the reason why probably that guy can't stop talking about it is because he's so iconic that it's, you know, you would have thought
it would have been
that he would have been in a movie already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other character is who I mentioned earlier from Jason Aaron's run is the God Butcher.
Now, God Butcher, I'm not familiar enough with, but I would say that, like, you know, it's probably one of those things where, it's, you know, as far as the chances, it's as much as anything else, because now we've hit 3 Thor movies, though.
Well, yeah,
you know?
I mean,
so it's like, what would they do in a 4th Thor if they did?
The basic storyline is he is this being who thinks that the idea that gods exist is not fair, so he starts killing them.
Okay.
And the cool thing about Jason Aaron's run is that he attacks Thor in 3 different timelines.
Okay.
So it's him as a young man in Norway, drinking and pillaging, and then him in the present, and then him as an old man, you know, basically looking like Anthony Hopkins with the eye patch.
Yeah.
That sounds expensive.
A little bit, but hey, you know.
I think you'll see Beta Ray Bill before you see that storyline.
Yeah, I mean, it is probably his next big kind of current, more recent, good storyline.
Yeah.
So it is a thing where, like, if they were going to do something, what are they going to do? But, I mean, this was such a twist of a thing you never would have saw coming.
Yeah.
I mean, before they announced this, it wasn't even on our radar that they were going to kind of combine Planet Hulk into this. Like, we thought Planet Hulk was a movie that, they want to do from the rumoring, but they're never going to be able to do.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, it's a left turn thing. So who knows what they'll pull out. Because that's the interesting thing about Marvel is it's still, after all is said and done, some of the surprises that have come along as it all took shape, just by the nature of events. Like this movie being the thing it is, I don't think was probably planned from the outset.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when they were laying out like 1, 2, and 3, it's like, well, okay. You know, I mean, maybe, but who knows? I doubt it. Yeah. Like Ant-Man, you know, that's the thing that may or may not happen. But it did. Like, you know, so that's been some of the
I thought they did a decent job with that,
I actually
too.
think that Ant-Man wasn't one of the ones that they originally had planned.
Well, it was kind of like this thing where it was like, it was gestating for so long, and they never really kind of put it initially on the real initial kind of list of movies that, like, in a timeline. Eventually they did, but that's what I just mean. Like, you know, it was only because of the one of what's his name wanting to make it. Was it Peyton Reed?
Well, Edgar Wright wanted to make it.
Edgar Wright.
wanted
Peyton Reed
to
ended
make
up directing it.
Right.
Okay.
But some of Edgar Wright's script is still intact.
Yeah. I just mean that was one of those things where, like, really, because it wasn't originally, like, at least seemingly, like, on their true docket.
Well, it was a test.
Yeah.
Guardians, Ant-Man, and Doctor Strange were all test the waters.
Yeah.
And all of them were successes. Yeah. So it's almost like they can't do any wrong.
And you know what? And like, you can't even say the thing where, like, oh, well, it's just because it's, you know, it's a brand and the fan base just eats it all up. And no. For what they do, it is amazing that they're able to do it so well. Because in this day and age, you don't get much of any kind of adaptions that land and hit the mark with the percentage per unit that Marvel does. Like, movie per movie, Marvel nails it You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's one thing that Marvel knows going into making movies that nobody knows about making movies is they have everything already done in the comics. So all they got to do is pull from that
and stay true to it.
They trust the source material.
They know the material works because it's already worked.
Yeah.
So they don't have to bother trying, and it's just a matter of, okay, how do we take this story, this Hulk storyline that we're really not supposed to do as a standalone, how do we take it and make it something?
Well, you know what they're doing, and Ed, you can probably attest to this, is the fact that in these studio meetings, they're saying, if we're going to do this, let's get some talent in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Get some merit into these movies.
Yeah.
Starting with Robert Downey Jr. and
just keeping it going from there.
Right. You know what I mean? You know, Favreau was a hot director at the time.
Spicy hot.
You know what I
Favreau
mean?
had to fight for Downey Jr. at the time.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, Downey was on the downslope.
Right.
Yep.
Like he was starting that comeback. You know, and
But his talent was
crescendo.
always never in question.
His talent was undeniable, but the studio wanted a name. They wanted, you know,
They wanted someone bigger if they could get somebody bigger.
Yeah.
And there were insurance concerns with him as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, but if you look at that, I mean, you had big guns in that movie. You had Jeff Bridges, you know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Even Gwyneth Paltrow, I mean, as an actress, you know what I mean? She was still like in the A list of actresses at the time.
She's an excellent actress.
Boom, you know what I mean? It was.
See, but that's the thing, and I think it all keys into the same thing. It's like that's adding the extra layers and stuff. But Bob's got this point of, and it's true, where Marvel comes at it where there's nothing wrong with this. We're just trying to translate it to the screen, you know. Whereas other studios for years, and even still to this day, it seems like from Jump Street, it's like, well, how do we make it better for the screen? Like from origin point, like, you know, from like we have to go in thinking that, as opposed to like, you know, it's all about point of view on the way in.
Well, that's where Feige comes in.
Well, that's what I mean. You know,
they know that the stories work. They know that the format works. This arcing idea, they know it works because that's what comic books are.
That's it.
So they're not.
And Feige's not even like a comic book like he read comic books growing up and stuff, but it's not like, you know, he came out of all that. Like he actually came out of animation, if I remember correctly. Like, you know what I mean, production wise and being a producer and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, it's storytelling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing, you know, I mean, this is kind of a lament, but the basic thing is that Marvel works from the inside out, and a lot of other studios work from the outside in. Where they figure, we know what movie we want to make, and we're gonna try to retrofit these comics to fit that, rather than Marvel going in and say, okay, this is great, and how do we adapt this properly for the screen?
Right.
So yeah, this is a good movie.
This was a good movie. We all.
This is a cash for sure.
This is a stash for me.
Stash, no, absolutely stash. I tell you what, I bought my tickets on Fandango this week, and for the first time, I actually took advantage of the free thing, because usually it's like a digital comic download, and I'm like, I don't do that, you know. But
I got one at the theater. I used my movie pass for this.
fair enough.
I went to the dine-in theater.
Yeah.
So I got the poster coming in the mail. It was a nice
Cool.
Dayglow kind of
How's the
limited
whole
edition
movie pass
poster.
thing?
Well, okay.
I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Movie pass is working well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Paying the bills.
Yeah.
Just letting you save up some money.
Yep.
Nice.
For now.
For now. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Still don't know how they're making money, but, you know, whatever.
So what's the next Marvel?
So the next Marvel,
Black Panther.
Yeah, the next superhero movie,
the next big special episode for us will probably be Justice League.
Justice League, in about 2 weeks.
Oh, I meant for Marvel. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Kept
Fair
keeping
enough.
it
Though. But for Marvel, it's definitely Black Panther in February.
Right.
I think is the thing.
Starting early.
Yeah.
Woof,
Well,
right around the corner.
they got the Deadpool window this year.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then
plus also you got Avengers Infinity War.
I will say this too.
Yeah, it's going to be another superhero summer. It's going to be insane.
Punisher drops on the 17th.
Same day as Justice League.
I don't know what we'll do, if we'll do anything special. I think it'll depend on how, like, if this thing blows my mind, like, you know what I mean? Maybe we'll do a special.
Justice League.
Well, Justice League will definitely do a standalone episode review for.
Right.
But I'm talking about Punisher. We might do one for that. We'll see how it starts coming off. If it starts coming off like, wow, we got this is like, oh, we gotta.
Well,
then
we're gonna have a busy weekend watching stuff, because it's gonna be Thursday or Friday watching Justice League, and then all that weekend watching Punisher.
Well, when is
I won't
the
be
date?
around.
you're going to be having some things to do. When is the date for Justice League?
Justice League is the 17th.
It is the 17th.
Yeah,
right. It's the same weekend.
Although around here at least we can actually get that after dinner Thursday.
Yeah, after dinner Thursday.
You know what I'll do? I'll send in a video.
I probably should have taken off next week. Fuck. The week after, not this week coming up, which I'm taking off. I should have taken off the week after.
I'll send in a video.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Special
and then
note from Jay.
After that, what's the next big one? It'll be the next Star Wars movie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so
We'll have
that'll
some
be the next
standalone
one,
episodes coming your way.
I already got my tickets for Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
I got the best seat in the fucking house.
Nice. Like in the booth?
No, in the.
It's reserved, sitting there for you with your name on it.
You've
right?
been to the
I'm
dine-in,
sitting in
right?
front of the camera.
No, I haven't.
You haven't got. You got to take him to the dine-in one day.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Order the
we should.
milkshake.
Yeah. There's going to be like 3 of them open up here on Staten Island any day now.
You wanted Amos and Andy?
Well, you know what? I even sent Bob a picture because the milkshake. It's like it's a big vanilla milkshake, and they take an ice cream sandwich and they put it right on the fucking. That's your milkshake. It's a fucking 2-in-1. It's amazing.
Jesus. Give you a fork and knife with that thing?
No, you eat your ice cream sandwich.
You
and
start
do your
dipping it
shit.
in a milkshake?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I drink your milkshake.
Jesus
I
Christ.
drink it up.
All right, so
Sounds delicious.
sounds delicious.
I drink your water.
So if anybody listening live in the chat room, if you follow us on Patreon, which you can do if you don't do at patreon.com/Wicked Theory, I am going to be on vacation this week. So you guys could look forward to just all kinds of bunches of after show episodes getting uploaded this week because that backlog is way too deep. It got to the point where like I am just going to wait till I'm on vacation and just kind of like do a few a day or something. So your email boxes blow up this week. I apologize. But I have to clear out the backlog.
Hey, maybe I'll do a Patreon with you.
And we do have a...
Yeah, we do have to do a Patreon for November.
Sure.
Let me be on this time.
All right. Definitely. I'm sure Don will be reminding me any minute now that we have to do
Yeah,
it.
it's like beginning of November, so he'll be like, we got to do a Patreon this
Don't
month.
forget, guys. What are you
Well,
doing?
I just did.
No, fair enough. Don calls me like when he's got nothing to do that night. And he's like, what
Yeah.
are you doing right now? You want to do a Patreon? Like, it's the 3rd. We can
Well,
wait.
This
You
will
know
be my
what?
first Patreon.
I'm probably going to have off on Thanksgiving Day and the day after, so if you want to do it then,
That's not a bad idea.
that's a
It's not
good
bad
weekend to
idea.
do
We'll
it.
see- we'll see.
Lots of free time.
Free time for us. We'll see if we can schedule Jason. I
Yeah,
know
I'll
he's
do it.
probably got some family function on Thanksgiving.
A Turkey Day thing? Well, let's do a Turkey Day show.
We're thanking the Patreoners
Turkey Day.
on Turkey Day.
There you go.
We can record it any day and just say it's Thanksgiving.
We could do it Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah, we can do it anytime.
We can
do it in an hour from now and say it's
We
Thanksgiving.
can record it live from Boston Market.
There we go. There we go.
We're going to the Unicorn Diner
There
for
you
fucking
go.
Thanksgiving dinner.
Turkey sandwiches with onion rings.
See, I can go for a turkey club right now.
So if this is the first time listening to us, you can check us out every week on the Wicked Theory podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever good podcasts are given away for free. Look us up on your pod player of choice, Wicked Theory podcast. You can check out the DC TV report as well. That's where Edward O'Hare, our friend right across the table, he hosts a recap show for every single damn DC TV show with our friend Sarah Netzley, freelance writer for Entertainment Weekly.
That's
or
the
EW,
live action shows, right?
or EW.com. Yep, just the live action stuff. Our buddy Jay, you can find him on Twitter at Jason Chickalise on the Twitters. Is that correct, Uncle Jason?
I don't know for how long, though. Just keep in mind that I might be changing it soon, and I will let you know when that happens.
Follow him now.
Follow me now
while you can.
and join me in the transition.
Ed is at Edward O'Hare, TBD.
Yep.
Brother Bob is at Bob WTPC.
Yep.
I'm at Wicked Theory, the show, wickedtheory.com. Check us out over there. And thanks for listening, and especially if you're listening live, and maybe even just a little bit more if you're supporting us on Patreon. You guys, you make it all worthwhile and possible. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good old groovy night.
I'm an oil man.
Sorry, I kept stepping on you, man.
No, don't worry about it, buddy.
The Wicked Theory podcast is heard live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern until whenever. Just go to mixler.com/wicked-theory. Mixler is MIXLR. Sign up to join the chat. Then click the follow button to get reminders whenever the show goes live. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever good podcasts are given away for free, and at wickedtheory.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/wickedtheory. There you can get the after show if you miss it live. God forbid. Plus other exclusive episodes. As always, send your emails to podcast@wickedtheory.com.